Hello, my name is Bobby Score. My story is entitled Badge and is being performed by Bart Mather.
This story takes place in a town called Rosedale, in a house painted gray with orange doors and orange shutters. That's how I began many of the bedtime stories I told my son. Sometimes the stories were tales, sometimes true. At least as true as I can remember them. The stories were from my childhood, still floating around in my mind, randomly emerging for no reason. Some were connected to seasons. I remember the summer sun on my back, or my frozen toes after playing all day in the snow. Colorful leaves I see on a tree today take me back to specific days years ago, breathing in that same air and living that day. I vividly recall one Sunday morning from my childhood when I was walking home from church. I was hungry. My thoughts drifted to my family's traditional Sunday lunch of roast beef, mashed potatoes, and green peas, served by my mother at the dining room table. After changing out of my church clothes, I went outside with my slingshot. My buddies and I would rocket pebbles at the clouds and trees. I happened to spot a squirrel sitting peacefully near the top of a tree. Without thinking what the consequences could be, I took aim. Bam! I hit the squirrel squarely on the side of his body. He froze. I froze. I felt sick to my stomach. I dropped the slingshot and ran into the house. I told no one what had just happened. I went to the dining table and I ate in silence. I positioned myself so that I could periodically look out the window to keep an eye on my victim. Throughout my entire meal, I could only imagine that poor squirrel was suffering in pain. He disappeared. I didn't see him leave his perch, but I did check the yard later to see if he had fallen and was lying on the ground wounded or even dead. He was nowhere to be found. I remained silent about this awful deed. It was something I had to swallow and live with. The feelings of fear and guilt enveloped me. I threw away my slingshot. Days passed. School, girls, and hit records became the topic of discussions with my pals. Not once did I mention how I hurt that small gray creature high up in the tree. Except one night, many years later, as I was putting my son to bed, with a story that for some unknown reason came to me and which took place in a town called Rosedale, in a house painted gray with orange doors and orange shutters.